Dairy farming in Australia is moving to large-scale corporately owned operations. For investors to achieve regular profits, they'll need to rely on an expert team to manage and operate all aspects of the farm. Australia's leading farm consultants have joined forces to ensure that investors have access to the best opportunities available. This is the story of Greenscope Dairies. A dairy farm success story that shows the Greenscope Dairies approach. This greenfield development, located in Walker, New South Wales, today operates as a shining example of a modern, efficient dairy farm. No headaches, smooth management, consistent production goals, and minimised business risks around feed, people and milk price, all well managed by industry professionals. In fact, it's hard to believe that this thriving 1,000-cow dairy farm, owned and operated by Greenscope Dairies team member Peter Notman, was actually transformed into this profitable operation from a former beef-sheep property back in 2008.
I invested in the Greenscope operation because I saw potential into the future. We could see that people who invest from outside the country probably need direction, and people within the country probably need direction also, to make sure those investments can be managed, I guess, and managed in a way that can set up those dairies to be profitable and forward-thinking in relation to, future expansion and future profitability. I guess the investment at Walker took a long-term view in the fact of the way that was set up. It's tried to set up, simplicity, but still using the technology, so reliable technologies, trying to make sure that animals could be moved around the farm fairly effectively, making sure laneway systems were well designed, and the design process that was put in place was to look at not the 1 to 2 to 3 years, but look at the 5 to 10 year potential.
The dairy industry is a lovely place, or a lovely thing to be in. To me, I've been in dairy most of my life, and to come to Walker and run this farm as a 6-year-old farm is amazing.
Simply put, Greenscope Dairies delivers the key success factors for well-managed dairy assets. A new, optimised way of investing in Australian dairy farms designed for the next 20 years, not the last. Greenscope Dairies is owned by 6 shareholders who collectively have more than 12 decades of experience in the dairy industry.
Well, I grew up on a dairy farm, in Gippsland, my family's farm, and I actually went away from that for 10 years and then come back and took it over and run it for about 8 years. And in that time, I did what they call an upfield scholarship, which put me overseas for a number of months, looking at a lot of different things. My primary role is to design the dairy. It's the setting up of the protocols, utilising the technology. So having the technology right to go from day one, and then having it set up so that the staff and the management can use it. The software that we're using is state-of-the-art software. It totally integrates with the whole dairy, and every little thing that happens we can see through the technology. And even though we've got a lot of really complex technology, it's still very, very simple for staff to work with. So a cow walks onto the platform, it tells them it's a suspect cow. They can then use an operating procedure, check the cow in certain steps and find out what the problem is.
So my role in Greenscope is certainly at an early level at developing the Greenscope model. We also have got within that model some very specific criteria around selecting and developing greenfield farms, and then putting in a strategy around operating those farms, and then of course putting all the pieces together. So that really starts off with engaging the right people to operate the farm, putting systems in place, and then implementing them, monitoring them, giving feedback to Greenscope, and obviously on to investors beyond that. So we have to design a farm to suit people. It's so important to do that. We also have to get the right people in the right roles, and then we have to develop a system on that farm that generates a really positive culture. And getting those three things right is fundamental. And if we can do that, then we will find that the learning experience curve that so many businesses go through in their startup phase is minimal, and that returns are coming back to investors quite quickly.
My current role, especially in the development area, is doing the financial modelling and some productivity inputs in terms of determining how we are going to generate profits and what the returns are going to be on that. Ongoing, it'll be involved in doing the sourcing of suitable land for developing greenfield sites in different parts of the country and up in New South Wales, which is where I come from originally. And then it'll be setting up some of the SOPs and ensuring we've got systems in place that are easy to manage, easy to run, and that everybody knows what they're doing and when they're doing it. And so we have a general sort of seamless process through the whole operation of the farms. So we felt that the best way to get a farm that was running well was to have a blank canvas, set it up properly and do it properly in the first place, so that it was all designed for 1,000 cows rather than 200 cows, adapted to try and make it work for 1,000 cows.
My background has been in the dairy industry for the last 20 years, and a lot of the work that I've done has been around industry programs for best practice on farms. So I designed and ran the Countdown Down Under program, which was around mastitis and milk quality, started in the late 90s and went through from that. And the most recent program that I've been involved with is designing and running the People in Dairy program for Dairy Australia. So yeah, I've had a lot of interest in what happens on farm and making sure that it works really well. We can look all the way from acquiring the appropriate parcel of land through to developing it in a way that will make it really swift, and then putting in place all the management and activities that need to happen and looking after those into the future. So right from the very beginning through for the long term, we're offering investors the opportunity to be with us for a long period of time.
So we've spent years as a business developing farm systems and protocols that we've found to be very successful in modern dairy farms. So our role in Greenscope really is to safeguard the health of the animals, and through preventative health programs and a focus on major issues like milk quality and reproduction, we can ensure the profitability of modern enterprises. I guess we view ourselves as critical in managing the risk associated with dairy farm investment, because if you can safeguard the health and production of the animals, which are the core of the system, then you're more likely to succeed. Yeah, so generations of experience on small, medium and large dairy farms, as well as some of the countries in the world's most eminent veterinarians working for and in consultation with the vet group, really give us the resources and the power to make sure that we're delivering the best possible service in the world.
I'd say it's reliability, experience and some of surety that the people who are actually involved in helping set up a dairy structure have the experience and have a proven track record to make sure this can work.
The Greenscope model is a new optimised way of investing in Australian dairy farms. The Greenscope team provides a complete package, from before purchase to ongoing management of the established farm long term. The Greenscope dairy model balances risk and return for all clients, who can retain 100% ownership of land, herd and infrastructure, receiving return on investment via operational returns and capital gain. The team develops and fully manages dairy farms on your behalf, with a long-term commitment of 5 years initially, with an option to renew for a further 5 years. The milestones are straightforward and the model works. The Greenscope IP provides a new, modern, efficient asset designed for the next 20 years, not the last.
We're inspired by the concept of really delivering an opportunity for investors to invest at the farm level in the dairy industry with a well risk managed approach, and with an opportunity to get the sort of returns that are there if things are done right.
A greenfield development also means more choice, as land options are not restricted to dairies currently on the market. Every aspect of the farm business has been considered to provide for consistent milk production from a low cost base. Greenscope Dairies are pasture-based farms, as this is highly cost efficient. It also means capital is invested in land rather than depreciating assets, such as housing barns. In short, Greenscope does all the work, is confident of the results, sharing the rewards, and is in for the long haul, at least 5 years, preferably 10.
We'll look to find the right farm, buy the right farm, develop the right farm for you and manage it right.
The time has never been better for this blue chip opportunity.